Hello, my name is Emma. I am learning English. I want to tell you about my life and how I study English. I hope my story can help you learn English too. It is not always easy, but I enjoy it very much. I live in a small town in Italy. I moved here from Rome last year. My town is very pretty. It has old buildings and nice parks. I like to walk in the parks and practice my English. Every day I wake up at 7 o'clock. I make a cup of tea and eat some toast for breakfast. Then I listen to an English podcast while I get ready. This helps me start my day with English. I like podcasts about everyday life in Britain. I work in a small shop in the town center. It's a good place to practice my English. Many tourists come to our shop. They speak English, so I must use it too. It's hard sometimes, but it helps me learn quickly. I always try to learn one new word from each customer. After work, I go to English classes 3 times a week. My teacher is very nice and helpful. We learn grammar, words, and how to speak better. I like the speaking exercises the most. We talk about different topics like food, travel, and hobbies. It's fun to share my thoughts in English. On the days when I don't have classes, I watch English TV shows at home. I use English subtitles to help me understand. At first, I didn't understand much, but now I can follow most of the stories. I write down new words I hear and look them up later. It's a fun way to learn. I also read English books. I started with children's books because they are easy. Now I can read short stories for adults. I read a little bit every day before bed. It helps me learn new words and see how to use them in sentences. I feel proud when I finish a book in English. On weekends, I often meet with my English study group. We are 5 friends who all want to learn English. We meet in a cafe and only speak English for 2 hours. We play word games, talk about our week, and help each other with problems. It's hard work, but we laugh a lot too. I use a language app on my phone every day. It has short lessons that I can do anywhere. I do them on the bus while waiting in line or during my lunch break. The app gives me points for each lesson. I try to get more points each week. It makes learning feel like a game. Writing in English is still difficult for me. To practice, I write in my diary every night. I write about my day, my feelings, and my plans. I don't worry about making mistakes. The important thing is to practice. Sometimes I show my diary to my teacher to check for big mistakes. I listen to English music a lot. I find the lyrics online and try to sing along. This helps me with my pronunciation. I learn many new words from songs. Some words are slang or not used often, but it's still fun to know them. Music also helps me remember phrases easily. Talking on the phone in English is very hard. To practice this, I call a language exchange partner once a week. She is learning Italian, so we speak English for 30 minutes, then Italian for 30 minutes. At first, I was very nervous, but now I look forward to our calls. I watch English news every morning. I don't understand everything, but I try to get the main ideas. It helps me learn about British culture and current events. I also learn how to say dates and numbers in English. This is very useful for my job in the shop. Sometimes I feel frustrated when I make mistakes or don't understand something, but I try to remember that every mistake is a chance to learn. I keep a notebook of my common mistakes. I review it often to avoid making the same mistakes again. This helps me improve. I changed the language on my phone to English. At first it was confusing, but now I'm used to it. It helps me learn tech words and everyday phrases. I also learn how to give instructions in English. This is useful when I help customers in the shop. On Sundays, I go to an English-speaking church. I don't understand all of the service, but I enjoy listening to the songs and prayers in English. After the service, there's tea and biscuits. I try to talk to people and make new friends. It's good practice for social English. I volunteer at a local animal shelter once a month. Many of the other volunteers are English speakers. We work together to take care of the animals. I learn lots of words about animals and nature. It's a nice way to practice English while helping others. I love cooking, so I started following English cooking channels on YouTube. I try to cook one new recipe each week. I learn words for food and cooking actions. Sometimes the measurements are different, so I learn about cups and ounces too. It's fun to learn English through my hobbies. I keep a vocabulary notebook with me all the time. Whenever I hear or see a new word, I write it down. At the end of the day, I look up the meanings and write example sentences. I try to use each new word at least once the next day. This helps me remember the words better. Sometimes I talk to myself in English when I'm alone. I pretend I'm talking to a friend or giving a speech. It feels silly, but it helps me think in English. I also practice my facial expressions and gestures. This makes me feel more confident when I speak English with others. I like to play online games in English. I join teams with English-speaking players. We have to work together and talk to win the game. I learn a lot of informal language and slang this way. It's exciting to use English in real situations, even if it's just a game. Every month, I set a goal for my English learning. This month, my goal is to learn 50 new phrasal verbs. I write my goal on a big paper and put it on my wall. Seeing it every day helps me stay motivated. When I reach my goal, I give myself a small reward, like a new English book. I try to think in English as much as possible. When I walk down the street, I name the things I see in English. When I plan my day, I do it in English in my head. At first, it was slow and hard, but now it's becoming more natural. It helps me react faster when I speak English. I watch English movies without subtitles sometimes. I don't understand everything, but I try to guess the meaning from the actors' faces and actions. After the movie, I read a summary in English to check if I understood the main story. It's challenging, but very rewarding. I joined an online forum about learning English. I read posts from other learners and share my own experiences. It's nice to know that other people have the same problems as me. We give each other advice and support. It makes me feel part of a big, friendly community. To improve my writing, I started a blog in English. I write about my life in Italy and my English learning journey. I post once a week. Some English speakers read my blog and leave comments. They sometimes correct my mistakes, which is very helpful. It's exciting to share my thoughts with people around the world. I love taking photos, so I joined an English-speaking photography club. We meet once a month to share our photos and talk about photography. I learn many technical words in English. We also go on photo walks together, where we practice describing what we see in English. Sometimes I get tired of studying grammar and vocabulary. On those days, I do fun activities in English instead. I might do a crossword puzzle, play Scrabble online, or watch a comedy show. These activities are relaxing but still help me learn. It's important to enjoy the learning process. I practice my English accent by watching videos of native speakers. I try to copy how they move their mouths and the rhythm of their speech. I record myself and compare it to the video. It's surprising how different I sound. But I'm getting better with practice. Clear pronunciation is important for being understood. Learning English is a big part of my life now. It's not always easy, but it's very rewarding. I can feel myself improving every week. I understand more, speak more fluently, and feel more confident. English is opening up a whole new world for me. I'm excited to see where it will take me in the future. I hope my story has given you some ideas for your own English learning journey. Remember, everyone learns differently, so find what works best for you. The most important things are to practice regularly and not be afraid of making mistakes. Good luck with your English studies.